Ladies and gentlemen, it is time. It is time to fill out our brackets for March Madness, the NCAA tournament, road to the Final Four in Tampa Bay. It is time. Now, before we get into this, I made a predictions video. It was 2 days ago. It is finally finished. That video should be out around the same time as this one, right? That video is pretty much me predicting how far I think each team will go, regardless of region. Now that the brackets are out, and a lot of people probably be confused now, like how could these teams meet in a championship if they're in the same bracket, the same region? Again, that is how far I think each team will go, regardless of region. That is a good one. I mean, it's not too crazy, but we'll get into that when that video drops. So, with that being said, I am caught up with everything. I have a lot of tabs open because we have a lot to talk about. So with that being said, we're going to start from the bottom and work our way up to the top. I'm going to do the Spokane region. I think it's Spokane 4. I'm going to do this one last because I don't know who in the committee thought that this was okay to put USC and UConn in the same region. Why would you do that to me? Why? I have to pick between two of the teams we've been watching all year, USC and UConn. Why would they do that to me? You know how hard that is to pick between those two? So when we get to that region, what I'll do is I'll pick the best case scenario for both sides. And you already know how this is gonna go. So with that being said, let's get into it. Let's start. We're gonna start from the bottom, then work our way up to the top. So let's start with the top Spokane region. NC State or Vermont. Vermont, you're going to Cancun. I don't see Vermont beating NC State. NC State is a defensive minded team, which you already know. I think NC State should handle them accordingly. If Vermont were to beat NC State, NC State will be canceled till next season. But I see NC State handling business, getting Vermont out of there, and they move on to the next round. Michigan State and Harvard. That should be interesting. Again, let's look at. I do have the bracket in my phone too. Just look at the records and see how far I think each team will go. So, uh, Michigan is 21-9. Harvard is 24-4. We didn't really watch too many, or we didn't watch either one this season for the most part. Michigan State or Harvard. I'm gonna go with Michigan State. Michigan State versus NC State. LSU or San Diego State. San Diego State, just like Vermont, going to Cancun. I mean, even though we didn't really watch San Diego State at all, LSU, I really have them as an underdog this year. Mainly because let's look at their. So I have so many tabs open. I might have to still type in LSU's season, right? Let's look at their schedule. Looking at their schedule, they had a lot of easy games. Eastern Kentucky 95-44, Northwestern 95-36, Charleston Southern 117-44, 131-44. Washington, that was a good game. And even Washington went back and forth with USC. Again, this was scary. I'm like, I don't know how they could lose to Stanford almost, but they were able to get that done. Again, Grambling, easy. Reggie Canjuns, easy. They had a pretty light schedule. They didn't really have too many comp games. But I do have them as an underdog to make a deep run. The only thing that stops LSU from making at least the Elite Eight is the health of the team. Because when I seen the bracket release video of LSU, I seen Flau'jae still in the boot. I seen Nita Morrow still in the boot. So, hey, you can't just be Michaela Williams because I don't know how far that's gonna go. But they did say Flage's supposed to be back. She took the SEC tournament off to get rest and recover, so she should be back and healthy. Anissa Moore, on the other hand, Anissa Chamberlain, Wilt Chamberlain. I don't know. I don't know. I don't know. But even San Diego State, for right now, I see them winning that game. Florida State and George Mason, Tania Latson. That should be enough. Grand Canyon and Baylor. GCU or Baylor. Their record was 32-2 Grand Canyon versus 27-7 Baylor. Let's look at both of their. Let's look at both teams, shall we? Let's type in Grand Canyon. Grand Canyon. Let's see what their stats look like. Trinity is their leading scorer with pretty much 16 a game. Laura with 7 rebounds. So 16 and 5.5 assists for Trinity. Average 3 steals a game. Oh, yeah. So this is a defender. She averaged 1.5 blocks as a guard. Who is Tierra Bruno? Who is that? 5'9", senior. Okay, so Grant. Okay, so GCU, they're not gonna be a pushover. Now Baylor. Let's look at Baylor. Baylor women's. Let's see how that goes. Let's see. Look at their stats. Okay, this is Longley, 14 and a half, almost 15 points. Little Page Bugs, Jada Walker, Bella. Now this team last year made it to, I believe, the Sweet 16, and they lost to USC. This should be an interesting game. Seemed pretty even. Yeah, these might be one of those upsets brackets. Upset game. Baylor or Grand Canyon? I'm a pull with Baylor. I think Baylor just might have enough with Vonleh, Lil Pace Bugs, 11 rebounds, Jada Walker, 2 steals, Bella with a block a game. Hey, I think they could pull it off. Won't be an upset. Ole Miss versus Ball State. Coach Yo-Yo should not be playing around. Got Ole State versus Baylor in the next round. Richmond and Georgia Tech. I see Richmond getting that job done. Georgia Tech. Yeah, I see Richmond. UCLA or UC San Diego and Southern. My opinion, regardless of who wins US or UC San Diego and Southern, they're playing to their demise for the rest of the season. So I got UCLA winning that game. I feel like there will be too much for either one to win. Now I'm not saying play to lose, but regardless, you're still gonna lose to UCLA. So I mean, so that is my first half bracket. Let's swerve over to this side because I have a lot to say about this region and this region. So let's start from the bottom in the Birmingham region. TCU or what's the school called? TCU or Fairleigh High Dickinson. Yeah, I got TCU winning that one. TCU, in my opinion, are they're equivalent to the Cleveland Cavaliers in the NBA. Doing a lot of winning, regardless of their conference. What conference is this? TCU is in. Let me just make sure because you don't want to be saying the wrong region. TCU conference. They're in the Big 12. I believe they're in the Big 12. Yeah, they've been doing a lot of winning. Let's look at their record. They have Haley Van Lith, who, in my opinion, made the correct decision to come to TCU, revamp her career, instead of going straight to the draft from LSU, because I don't know if she would have even been drafted from LSU. But her coming here to TCU, where she could be player one, option one, like how she was in Louisville, playing with Sedona Prince, aka Anthony Davis. Yeah, I could see them beating Fairleigh High Dickinson, no problem. I can see that. Next we have Louisville and Nebraska. Louisville and Nebraska. Louisville's record 21-10 versus 21-11. So that should be a good one. Nebraska. Let's look at Nebraska. Nebraska. Let's look at their stats. See who does what. Alexis pretty much is carrying a team with 16, 17 points, 8 boards, 4 assists, 2 steals for Britt Prince. This should be a good game. Like this should be a almost down to the wire kind of good game, down to the last shot kind of good game. Louisville women's. Now they have Jada Curry. They have Jalea McKinley, Taj Roberts, Mercier Russell, Big O, Olivia. This should be a good game. Let's look at their stats. I think Jada Curry's going. She's gonna turn up in the tournament, especially when they play Louisville. How she looked, I can see her turning up in the tournament. Olivia 7 boards. Jalea. Yeah, I'm gonna pull for Louisville. I'm gonna pull for Louisville. Notre Dame versus Stephen F. Austin. Oh, it's a Stephen A. Smith school. Yeah, I see Notre Dame. Yeah, and it's in Indiana in their gym. There's no way Notre Dame loses. Now Notre Dame, I've been getting on them recently because my expectations is really high for a team like this, right? Because you have to think when the season started, when they played USC and they looked how they looked, it's like who was stopping them, right? They beat Texas. Olivia Miles, what could have been game winner. Leah Two King fouled at half court, or not even half court, the free throw line for I don't know for what reason. Could have just got back. Game would have been over. But they still came up with a W regardless, and they beat UConn 2 years in a row. So even in that time span, right? Notre Dame, in my predictions video, I had them in the Final Four at one point. No, Hannah Hidalgo was the National Player of the Year front runner, right? Until we get down here. This is where I start getting scared because okay, yeah, the schedule's been kind of easy. A lot of easy wins. Then they play NC State. Where Notre Dame go? Where they go? There they go. A lot of tabs open. Play NC State double overtime. Tough loss. Maybe you didn't run out of gas. Boom. And they play Florida State. It was senior night. I don't know how they lost this game. They should have won this one. Louisville was a second half game. Louisville again, as I said earlier, Jada Curry turned up, and then Notre Dame did what they were supposed to do. I mean, Louisville, they're not a terrible team. Like they're okay, but again, Notre Dame was supposed to win that game. Second half, they turned up, and did what they're supposed to do. Then they come to the tournament versus Cal. Cal pretty much gave them the ball back over and over, hand wrapped, gift them the ball back like it's Christmas and Thanksgiving. So they end up getting a dub. And then they play Duke. Duke is a tough team. They caught me by surprise. Duke, NC State, they played each other, and Duke ended up winning in the championship. But this is Duke is a defensive minded team. They caught me by surprise. And the only thing that scares me about Notre Dame, because I mean, yeah, they're gonna win this game versus Stephen A. Smith. They're gonna win that game. The only thing that scares me about Notre Dame, and I said this in my prediction video, they could not go in this tournament thinking that Hannah Hidalgo is going to lead them to the promised land. That's just not going to work. They have to have the same formula. And I think that's probably what it was. They went off the formula that they've had in winning these games. Because when season started, look, They looked like a team versus USC. Came together versus Texas. I believe that game went to overtime, and they beat UConn. Again, Hannah Hidalgo was the ESPN's front runner for National Player of the Year until 2 weeks ago. It's like, what happened? And just after taking maybe 2 weeks and a week off, I'm thinking they went away from the formula that made them great. We played together, team ball. Now it looked like they just got used to Hannah Hidalgo being option one, maybe from last year, because last year it was a three-headed dragon with her, Sony Citron, and Maddie Westbelt. And even last year they were just missing a piece. They had a missing piece, and it was Olivia Miles. You see how they went. They just turned up a lot of green grass until here and here and here. But Ivy, Coach Ivy had about 2 weeks to figure it out. I think they can make a deep run as long as they stick to the formula that made them great when the season started. Now, if they think Anadago just going to take them to the promised land, no. Shoot, the same thing with USC, but we'll get on them in just a second. Because this game versus Duke, this was disappointing. I'm not going to lie. Leah King, to me, when she shoots the mid-range shots, she's like Carmelo Anthony. It's just midi, it's money. 17 minutes, 0 points. That cannot happen in this tournament. Maddie Westbeld, I know she had the nose problem, bloody nose 2 games in a row, but she still played 27 minutes. 0 for 6, 0 points. They combined for how many minutes is this? 27, 17, 44 minutes of cardio between the two. That cannot happen in this tournament. Hannah Hidalgo did her thing, but 9 of 22, that ain't gonna win the game. Olivia Miles, I don't know. She did sit for a good while. 26 minutes, 10 points. Sony Citron with 9. Yeah, that's Sony Citron's a bucket. She's just easily 15, 16 points a game with no problem. Her scoring 9 points, I don't think it's not gonna get it done, at least for me, in my opinion. So, but versus Stephen A. Smith, that's more than enough. Michigan, Ohio State, Prince. Iowa State were to win. They play Michigan. So is that Audie Crooks, Michigan, Silas Swords. I think regardless of who wins, I think Silas Swords gonna get it done. I think Silas Swords and the team that they had, I seen them when they play USC. They look pretty good. That's a semifinal in the Big Ten tournament. Look pretty good. So I got Notre Dame and Michigan in the next round. Ohio State, Montana State. Montana State, you're going to Cancun. 5 to 7 business days, you'll be going overseas for a vacation, just like the other teams. Tennessee and South Florida. Tennessee or South Florida. Tennessee, they had a lot of dramatic Tyler Perry kind of games this year. A lot of down to the wire last shots. They had the upset versus UConn. But this shouldn't be an upset with South Florida. So Tennessee should be advancing to the next round, right? Illinois and Creighton. Illinois is 21-9. Creighton is 26-6. Creighton's a pretty good team. Eh. Illinois, eh. I got Creighton winning that game. Should be a pretty easy game for Creighton. Texas or High Point versus William and Mary. Again, as I said earlier, with what team is this? Southern and UC San Diego. Regardless of who wins, they playing for their demise for the season. And again, I'm not saying play to lose, but regardless, you losing to Texas. So I'm gonna go Texas. So far I have Texas, Creighton next round, Tennessee, Ohio State next round, Michigan, Notre Dame next round, and Louisville and TCU next round. All right, let's see. SC versus Tennessee Tech. South Carolina. This is a team that is, I don't want to say they're spoiled, right? But they were upset that they didn't get the number one seed. I seen the videos because I have them right here, right? Don Staley was disappointed that they didn't get the top seed. They felt as if they had way harder games. We're going to look at their schedule after she finished talking. And they felt like they should have been a number one seed. But let's let her talk.
Much more than probably any other overall number one seed. We out.
Here's another
You
tip
know
from the
you
Tool
lying.
Shack: how to stay in the zone.
The best way to stay
No,
in the
he
zone is
paused.
to stay cool.
Did ourselves, but I, I mean, I'm not in the room, but obviously, I think we did much more than probably any other overall number one seed. We outdid ourselves even from last year with the amount of quality wins
Mind you, last year they went undefeated
that we
the entire season.
had. But I guess the committee was looking at something else.
Overall thoughts on the draw and the possible matchups?
Whether we were the number one overall seed or not, the draw is the draw. I mean, we're gonna play each game like it's our last, and hopefully that leads us to
Yes.
a place we all,
Every game is game 7.
hopefully everybody in this room wants us to be.
Going into this, what was your gut feeling where you'd end up versus how it played out?
My gut, my gut was the number one overall seed because we put the work in. That's what my gut gives me. But man says otherwise. And I don't really put my faith in man. And so we'll play with it. We'll play it. We'll play the cards that we've been dealt.
Dawn, does it help that there could be potential matchups against Bama, Vandy, Duke that you've already played this year?
I mean, I didn't even break it down that much. I think for us, it's just Friday. And then we see, I saw Friday, Tennessee Tech and Indiana.
So there's that. And I have another vid. Oh, I should have brought this up in the intro, right? I did see this from ESPN. Most pick champions: South Carolina 27%, UConn 20, USC 13%, UCLA 10, almost 11%, Texas 6.3, and Notre Dame 4.1. You guys let me know how you feel about that. But anyway,
From the reveal, the top overall one seed, UCLA, first.
One of these people uses the new.
oh, it's quick. It's a quick ad, quick ad, quick ad, quick ad.
From the reveal, the top overall one seed, UCLA, first in program history. This adds to an already historic season for the Bruins. South Carolina, as mentioned, gets a one seed for the 5th straight tournament, joining UConn. Tennessee and Notre Dame as the only ones to ever do it 5 consecutive seasons. They're seeking their 3rd title in the last 4 years. Next up is your one seed, Texas.
USA are watching the team in Birmingham. What was the reaction?
I don't know. I looked back and I saw that they didn't react. I don't even think they knew they were on television. So, and then once they were, they played it cool. I mean, I'm a little bit of surprised because we manufacture our schedule to put ourselves in a position to be the number one overall seed. And I do think if you do, the blind test and you put our resume against any other team in the field, I think you'll pick us. That's just plain and simple. I'm gonna speak on it tonight, and it's not gonna be a motivation for us moving forward. It's hard enough to win a national championship. We don't need a chip on our shoulder. We do need to voice it. I do need to voice the fact that we put a schedule together. We got the most quad wins, and if having more quad one wins doesn't supersede some of the hiccups that we had during the season, I don't know what will. So for us, maybe we don't put ourselves in a position where we have hiccups, so we aren't, they aren't lower the standard for us to get a number one overall seed.
You can't do that. Because you know what's going to happen next? The media will say South Carolina ran from smoke. Now, next year, there will be scheduled matches with USC. So it's going to be a battle of SC with South Carolina and USC playing next year, which I love to see that from a fan's perspective, right? But I also have to keep in mind that games like this can't happen as often as I would want to because, for one, travel costs a lot of money and student athletes, right? Student first, you got homework, you got tests, quizzes, you know, midterms, finals, got a lot going on as far as the school's perspective, right? Wear and tear on the body, the athlete part. And then the traveling, it costs a lot to travel from here to there, there to here to there. But I do love to see more games like a South Carolina versus USC. Now, let's get into this. It's two things that kind of like, okay, what is South Carolina really complaining about? They lost to UCLA, who ended up being the top seed. That to me played a part in it. A lot of green grass. And they lose to Texas. Got smoked by UConn. Got dog walked by the Huskies. But again, a lot of green grass after that. For one, they lost to there's two things, right? So one, they lost to the top seed UCLA. And then looking at the records, the end of season record, 30-3 versus UCLA's 30-2. So realistically speaking, wouldn't UCLA have the better top ranking anyway? Maybe I'm wrong because I know in sports like the NBA, whoever has the best record is number one. So whoever has the least amount of losses will be ranked higher than and it has more losses. And one of those losses came from UCLA for South Carolina. So I mean, I'm just assuming that UCLA will have the top seed regardless, but to each his own. But as far as this goes, they beating Tennessee Tech. I mean, that ain't nothing. And that's another thing. Even though they didn't get the number one seed, look at their bracket. Look at their region. Like, who's really gonna beat them in their region? Like, let's be for real. Like, Duke, that's probably the second closest. Maybe North Carolina. They don't really have like competition in this region though. So then to say that they might have to remanufacture their schedule for next year just to get the top seed in the tournament, I'm like, why? You don't really need to do that. Plus, you know how the media get, South Carolina, you schedule, smoke, you know how that go. South Carolina, in my predictions video, should be up in here in the championship game. Right here. Right? South Carolina, as I said all year, they don't have the height like last year with Cardoso. So if they get beat on defense, you have 6'8" monster with the hands up. That layup gets sent to the cheap seats. But one thing I will say about this team this year, they remind me of the Warriors from 2022, as I said before. They have the experience. Mind you, right? There's a couple of side clips that I want to show you, right? This was during the SEC championship game, March 9th. 30 days before that, February 9th, this is Madison Booker doing her thing, right? Gets her a spot, getting a bucket. But peep game on what she said to Bree Hall. She can't effing guard me. She got to her spot. You know how Madison get. Get to her spot, get a bucket. Then turns and says, she can't effing guard me. And you know what? It's March, so I'm here for the negativity. Trust me. This is where you are supposed to express yourself in the highest level. Madison, we got a lot of love for you, Madison. But you gotta understand that this is Breezy. And she done woke up all Breezy. Got her talking. February 9th and then March 9th. We got this. Her response was, "Who can't guard you?"
I won't say no names, but I will say that a special somebody said she can't effing guard you. So I said, oh, okay, who can't guard you?
Now, as I said in the Caitlin Clark video, the resume speaks for this. The resume speaks for itself with Bree Hall, right? Mind you, last year she was doing this in a championship game. This is Bree Hall right here. I'm talking about hand and face absorbing Caitlin Clark's superpowers offensively. Like Mortal Kombat. Look at this. I'm talking about fingers and skull. Between her and Raven Johnson locking Caitlin Clark, and you know how Caitlin get. 22 is going to be 22. We know that, right? But boom. The resume speaks for itself with South Carolina. Mind you, this is a team. Let me see if I could pull up the video just real quick. Keep in mind, this happened 2 years ago, right? Or, no, it was last year. This is what Angel Reese said about South Carolina.
On how this team is shorthanded as you guys were, how beaten banged up as you guys were. This is the number one team in the country, and you guys gave them everything they can handle again today.
We're not gonna make that an excuse. We're not scared of South Carolina, and I'm gonna repeat that. We're not scared of South Carolina, and a lot of people are scared of them. And we came in and battled and battled and battled and battled and battled to the end. And of course, we came up short, but we'll see. We'll see them again, or whoever will see them again. But
Well, I didn't see him again, but
I'm just happy, and I'm gonna acknowledge my teammates first because Janae, Aaliyah, they came off the bench and did big things for us. Michaela, she was frustrated because she had to do minimum numbers in minimum time, but she came out there and did what she did, and she defended and she played as hard as she could. So being able to be proud of the team, I'm not going to give them all the credit because I know how hard we played. We played hard, we played tough, we did whatever it took to win, and sadly we came up short, but I'm happy where we are right now, and anybody seeing us moving forward should be scared.
every team moving forward should be scared. Keep that in mind.
Repeat that. We're not scared of South Carolina.
We're not scared of South Carolina, right? This was Angel Reese last season and ended up losing to Iowa. Kenny Rooks went on to say South Carolina is cheating because they get all the McDonald's All Americans. Then the video I just showed you prior, the Angel Reese video, press conference. South Carolina should make a easy run to the championship with no excuses. They lose, they cancel. I'm tell you that right now. They better not lose to none of these teams in this region. They lose, they cancel. Media's gonna cancel them easily. Anyway, let's keep going. Utah and Indiana. Utah and Indiana. Let's see their records. Utah is 22-8. Indiana's 19-2. Let's do a little research while we're here. Indiana. Let's do some statistical research. Garzone 15, Sidney Parrish 4 or 5, 5.4, so maybe 5.5 assists. Chloe with 4.4, steal, block. Indiana's they can hoop. They can hoop, but let's look at Utah. I remember Utah one of the teams that beat Notre Dame early this year in the not Christmas, the Thanksgiving tournament. Gianna 19, 7, that's 5, steals, 2. Yeah, this should be a good game. 8th seed versus 9th seed. Mm, I'm gonna pull Indy. I'm gonna pull Indiana. I'm gonna pull Indiana. Alabama or Green Bay? Green Bay or Alabama? Crimson Tide. I think it's time for an upset. I'm gonna pull Green Bay in the upset. Maryland and Norfolk State. Maryland got a couple of guards. What's her name? Who's that guard that Maryland had that didn't play when they played USC? Maryland. Cheyenne Sellers. I think that's what it is. Cheyenne Sellers. Okay. Yeah, I can see Maryland winning that game. See Maryland advancing to the next round. West Virginia, Columbia, Washington. I can see West Virginia winning regardless of either or, Columbia or Washington. North Carolina and Oregon State. I have North Carolina winning that game. Oregon State, they had a Cinderella run this year, but I don't see them winning versus North Carolina. North Carolina seems like a very put together team right now. Vanderbilt and Oregon. Michaela Blake's. You gotta look at her stat line again. I pulled it up in the predictions vid. I gotta see her stats again. Vanderbilt. Caleb Blake's has been hooping. 23, 10 boards, 4 assists, 3 steals, block a game. Versus Oregon. Who does Oregon have? Oregon. Deja Kelly. Yeah, that's about it. Yeah. Got Vanderbilt. Think Michaela Blake's gonna get it done. Yeah, see how far freshwoman, whatever you want to call it. See how far she could take them. Duke and Lehigh. Lehigh going to Cancun. All right. Now let's head on to the Spokane region. Yukon, Arkansas State. Arkansas State, you're going to Cancun. About 5 to 7 business days. Going back home. Oklahoma State and South Dakota. Let's look at their stats. Their um, record 29-3 and 25-6. Let's look at this really quick. Uh, Oklahoma. Um, there we go. Let's look at their stat line. 17. Yeah, she's doing a lot of carrying. 17-8. 4 assists, 2 steals, 2.5 blocks. Yeah, she's doing her job. Almost 3 blocks a game. South Dakota State. Let's see. Yeah. South Dakota State. Got South Dakota. Jackrabbits. 17-6-5. Yeah. I got Oklahoma winning that game. Oklahoma State, that is. Oklahoma and Florida Gulf. Excuse me, Reagan Beers. I think they'll get it done. Florida Gulf is 30-3, but I think Oklahoma will get it done. It's a 3 seed. Iowa and Murray State. Iowa and Murray State. Lucy Olson and the mayor, Hannah Stalkey. Let's see. Who's on Murray State? We were pretty familiar who's on Iowa. Host Caitlin Clark. Let's see who they have. 22-10. Yeah, I got Iowa winning that game. I think Iowa should get it done. Oh no, Iowa. Yeah, I think Iowa should get it done. Kentucky and Liberty. I think Kentucky should get that done. Georgia Amore and Brooks should get that done. Fairfield and Kansas State. Fairfield. Fairfield. Let's look at Fairfield. 15-5. 5.2 assists. Steals. Okay. Let's look at Kansas State. 14 points, 5 rebounds, 7.1 assists. It should be a good game. Um, I'm gonna go Kansas, higher seed. California and Mississippi State. My preview of California was the game versus Notre Dame. They can't take care of the ball. They're gonna be going to Cancun. Got Mississippi State Bulldogs getting that one done. UNC Greensboro and USC. Hi guys, just a quick edit. I forgot to play this video and a couple other clips of USC and how they felt disrespected being the last number one overall seed in the bracket.
Obviously, pretty muted.
And we'll talk about their schedule after this.
From the group. I know Juju and Kenny were both kind of saying.
We've earned I mean, look, it's unbelievable to have 1,000 people in here. It's not lost on us at all that we've earned a 1 seed for the second year in a row. I think there's so much gratitude to be playing at home, excitement for what we're going to do. But I can't speak for them. For me, I never thought I'd be a 1 seed and feel disrespected. But I thought the committee, I thought there would be very little chance we would be the number 4 overall, number 1. And so, we've got a big game here on Saturday against UNCG, and we'll handle it accordingly. But you tell me if you think that bracket that we got should have been the one that it was. I can't speak for the players. I think they're excited to play, but this was not on my bingo card to be a little bit, frustrated after being a 1 seed, and it's not, an arrogance of any kind. I think there's a lot of really good teams, and you got to play the first game in front of you and earn your way from there, and that's what we'll do. But sometimes I don't understand people who make decisions in women's basketball and why they do what they do. And certainly with this committee, I would love to ask some questions. I could go down. And just none of it makes sense.
A lot of teams have a lot of questions.
Of how UCLA is the number 1 overall, as they should be. And we beat them twice, so then South Carolina's number 2, but then how does Texas become number 3 and we become number 4? I just needed someone to explain it. Or Maryland got the 4 seed over, let's say, Ole Miss in a Big Ten SEC thing. And so it doesn't make sense to me. But that being said, we're super excited to be playing at home. We have some really good teams coming here to Galen. That'll be exciting. And every game, you got to take one game at a time. But if there's a little extra motivation for a team that's already a 1 seed, we're going to have it.
At least she kept it honest about motivation, because Dawn Staley act like they're not motivated at all. Alright. Anyway, let's look at USC. Where is USC? Let's look at USC. We don't have them up. Oh yeah, we do. Here we go. Let's look at USC schedule, right? 5th game of the season, they lose to Notre Dame. After that, it was a lot of green grass, a lot of winning until they played Iowa, right? A lot of winning until they played Iowa. Again, I understand it was a lot on the line for Iowa. Caitlin Clark's in the house, getting her jersey retired. Pretty sure people would have pulled up anyway because, it's Juju Watkins, USC Kiki, Area Finn. Everybody's pulling up, right? 6-man crowd. But I think USC, them losing this game, this might have played a big part in them being the last number 1 overall seed. Because this game, I understand again, Iowa had a lot on the line with who was there and what was going on, but they still got to win this game, bro. If they would have won that game and won every game after that, they would have been the second number 1, or they probably would have been first number 1 overall seed, to be honest with you. Because they only lose to Notre Dame all year. Other than UCLA in the championship, but other than that, they only lose to Notre Dame throughout the whole season. They would have been possibly the first overall seed easily. And at least she didn't say she's touching the schedule to make it easier and all of that. We don't want to advertise weaker schedules because that's going to be boring. And you know how the media gets. But I think them losing to Iowa might have played a big part. They weren't supposed to lose that game. That's why the video that I made about it went as somewhat viral as it did, because they didn't play like how I thought they would have played in a game like this. Let's look at the box score. I just remember they had like 5 offensive rebounds and it was jacking up threes. 18 threes to 24. Yeah, and then that's another thing about USC. They can't have a game like they had versus UCLA In the second half, they come out slow. The first half, they played great versus UCLA in that championship game, Big Ten. But the second half, they cannot come out cold. And that's really for the entire bracket. They cannot come out here cold. They have to be hot all game, every game. Because we all know every game is game seven. And you know what it is after that. But anyways, let's look up a couple of more clips with a couple other players than Kennedy and Juju and Kiki. We're all talking about the tournament, so let's get them out the way and then go back to the video.
Okay, so we're at the film festival.
Back to
Middle
filling out
Park
the
City.
bracket.
The doors open, and they.
Juju, we noted the more muted reaction when you guys hear that you're the number one seed. Is that just kind of that's the expectation?
Yeah, it is the expectation. I think we know what we're capable of. It's just a matter of knowing who's next and tackling that day by day.
How about their insinuation that you guys are inexperienced in?
I mean, people have their own opinions. You can't really take that much into consideration, but I think it's a testament to what we're building. It's going to take time, and every year I think the goal is to break, others' opinions and kind of just create a new, I don't know, just go out there and play our game and have fun. I don't know.
I know it's all about the team, but
yeah,
individually, this is your second go around now. You got the experience of how the tournament works and all the ins and outs. So how are you approaching it mentally and looking at it this season?
Yeah, I think just continuing to stay locked in. Season's super long. The plan is to go even longer than last year for sure. So just staying locked in, taking it game by game, and that's really all you can do.
What gives you confidence that this team is capable of going further than last year?
I think just the trials and tribulations we've been through. I mean, this season has not been pretty. There were moments when we could have kind of given up, and we didn't. And I think that speaks to our resilience and just our will to want to win and just play together.
What would you describe it's like playing in the NCAA tournament, the different vibe that it is in any other tournament you've ever been in?
I've been in it one time, so I don't know really what to compare it to, but it's just so different. So many teams from all over that you never get to play against. There is no familiar, like you're not familiar with most of the teams. So to be able to kind of combine everybody together and just create so much excitement around women's basketball, it's amazing.
The celebration today, it is a long season. It's a lot of work behind the scenes to get to this right here. We can take a breath and then brand new season, right?
Right.
What's your mental approach now that you've had a few days off to prepare and just rest, and then now it's good?
Yeah, I think just enjoying my time off. Just kind of doing things to get me relaxed and in the right mindset to be able to kind of shut everything out and just go tunnel vision for as long as possible, a month or whatever. But yeah, just
the Juju I need in this tournament, dog. I need Mini Kobe to come out, please. Because I can't take these content creators just making fun of Juju like she's doing something to them. Like she's just having fun playing basketball.
when
That's
I'm
it.
kind of in the space where nothing else is around me.
I need her to lock in, please.
Tournament, was it about Final Fours and the national championship?
Oh yeah, for sure. NCAA that's everybody's dream. I think for me, I always grew up watching it, making my own brackets, and now I get to be a part of it. So it's cool.
You guys are coming off a loss. You guys have been quite good coming off losses in the past this season. What do you feel like the team's mindset is, and how do you think maybe that could help kind of propel you guys forward?
Yeah, I think it just gave us a chip on our shoulder. It was a it was a battle. It was it was a good game and so much to go back to and go back to the drawing board and learn from. So we're not letting that hold us back. I mean, the goal is to continue to push forward. Like you said, this is a brand new season. So we're just wiping the slate clean and we know.
A lot of mixed emotions. I'm excited, maybe a little nervous. My first appearance, obviously, in the NCAA tournament, but I think overall, just trusting the plan that we've had since the beginning of the season and executing and, taking it game by game.
What have your teammates kind of told you about what the tournament's going to be like and the whole experience of it?
She's gonna be picking up 92 feet.
Hectic, but
Drink your water. Hydration testing.
I think
Drink your water.
Obviously, we have a lot of vets on this team with TVO, Kiki, Rhea. They have all been in this position before, so they just stay the course within the whole process and just trusting it and trusting our teammates and stuff of that nature. So.
The rest of the country, put the camera on them, teams go crazy. You guys game face already.
Yeah, I mean, I don't want to say we expected it, but, just kind of, I feel like we've earned what we've had. So just, time to lock in on what the plan is, and that's to win a national championship. So, yeah.
Was that the conversation before? Like you guys all planned you weren't going to react to?
No, we kind of really didn't talk about it, but, I think we did do a little claps and celebrations, and then we took it back down. But, I mean, we're all super excited to be in this position that we are right now. So, yeah.
What gives
As they should.
This group is kind of hitting, at their stride at the right time, even though obviously you guys are coming up a lot.
I think just trusting in all my teammates. I think we put in the work since the beginning in the summer, from running 22s to, doing all of our defensive drills, offensive drills, and I think that's something that we kind of hone into, and just staying the course within that and trusting each other, and yeah.
Who's that?
Although we did say Ariaffin at Stanford. So what changed?
So my
Tournament. What can you take from that game specifically?
I already seen this clip, but I just want to play it again.
That could help you the rest of the way here.
I think honestly just paying attention to the details. I think in the first half we were really on our P's and Q's with that. But then as the game got on, I think we were a little bit more.
This is versus UCLA, by the
We
way.
had beat the team twice. But I think it just shows you what March is. Anybody can win in March. It's anybody's game. So it doesn't matter what we did in the regular season. It's kind of like a new season, 0-0. So I think with that, we're kind of, taking that loss on the chin, and we're really excited to come out in these next few weeks and hopefully make a shot at the national championship.
I heard you throw that in there, that you beat them twice. You had to get that in. I respect that. That rivalry is always hot, whether it's football, baseball, basketball, whatever, but particularly in women's basketball, how much more heated is that rivalry now, particularly this season?
I've never experienced a rivalry like this. So my rivalry the past 3 years was with Cal.
Yeah.
And we were like really great friends with the team. But here it's like there's bad blood. Like we do not like the school across town is what we say.
See you later.
So I think it's really exciting to play in
You'll see you later in my bracket.
like that, and really the games mean so much more. So winning at home or winning away, like you kind of have this extra chip on your shoulder that one, you don't want to lose in the first place, but you don't want to lose to your rivals.
If you could tweak the brackets, do it your way, would you want to see them in the Final Four, or would you want to see them in the championship game?
Honestly, I just want to make it to the championship game. So I really don't care who we're playing against. I definitely would love another shot at UCLA for sure. I think our whole team would love that, but it really doesn't matter when it is. I think we're just really focused on getting to Tampa.
You're going to be a number 1 seed, and that comes with expectations. How do you balance knowing that you're one of the teams that should get to Tampa, but you still have to take it one game at a time?
I think it's exactly that. It's taking it one game at a time. I think we have a lot of confidence in ourselves in terms of what we're capable of doing. We've beaten some great teams over the course of the season, but it's also not getting too high on those wins and kind of just taking every team one game at a time. Again, it's March. Anybody can win in March. There's a lot of upsets in March, so we don't want to be a team that partakes in that. So it's kind of just taking every team very seriously, regardless of who we're playing.
In every game this season except one, shout out to Avery Howell because she was the exception in the win against Purdue. But in every other game this season, it was either Juju Watkins or yourself leading the team in scoring. She's going to face the defense's best effort every single game. How do you know when, okay, it's time for me to step up and take over because they're focusing on her?
I think as the game kind of goes on, you kind of just see what the defense is giving you. So I honestly feel like we use the first quarter to kind of read what the defenses are playing. Are they more focused on her, more focused on me, and kind of going from there? But I think, honestly, everybody on the team 1 through 15 is capable of showing up and showing out. So if teams have a certain game plan, like I'm not worried about that because I know the rest of my teammates are very capable of taking over as well. So I think that's what makes us very threatening, is that anybody on our team can kind of take over the game.
Okay, you know the game plan. And I'll say it in the video. They're going to focus on Juju more than likely, and Kiki has to be consistent. That's going to be the big word for her going into this tournament, going into the draft as well, is consistency. Like 17 to 20 plus points per game, 10 plus boards every game for them to win it all. They need Okiki to come out here. Okiki!
You decided to transfer from
You got to
Stanford.
be a hooper.
I read that you two
Has
had
to
a
go
phone call with
crazy.
you and Juju, and that played a role in your decision. What was that phone call about?
Honestly, just about winning. It's about this moment right now that we're about to embark. She really wants
This is their year.
to win. I really want to win. And we both kind of poured in, and we're like, we want to be very selfless and do whatever it takes to win a national championship. And we felt like pairing up together, we could definitely achieve that goal. And I think, honestly, everything that we've talked about has really come to fruition. And we're just excited of, again, making it to Tampa.
When you hung up the phone after that call, did you know?
I knew. I was like, it's LA. I get to play with a lot of the girls that I grew up playing against and playing with, and, playing for a great program that has so much history, and a lot of alums that are very well involved in the women's basketball space. So I was like, it was really a no-brainer for me.
We saw you on senior night with your family, and I also saw that you said it meant a lot to you to be able
single day and every single night. So it's just made the season super special. I just get to get a lot of love whenever I play basketball in Galen Center.
They were an Elite Eight team last year. Without you, they add you as another piece to try to take that next step. So when you look at the makeup of this team and what you've been through this season, what gives you confidence that you're going to bring that banner back here from Tampa?
I think we've just faced it all. We've faced all the type of teams that you can think of. The Big Ten is a great conference with a bunch of different makeups of teams. And just in my position specifically, I'm guarding post players who are more of guards, and then I'm guarding really big post players. So I think the makeup of the Big Ten will definitely prepare us for the tournament. But then also our preseason games, playing against Notre Dame, playing against Connecticut, I think those will definitely prepare us for the run that we're trying to make. So I think we've just been tried and tested, and we've been successful up until this point.
What would it mean?
They're going to get tried and tested a lot.
To you to come back home to Los Angeles and reestablish.
But again, as long as they lock in and play together as a team, they're going to make it hard.
National championship.
And it's not just get a ball to Juju, she's cooking them. That's not going to work deeper into the tournament. It might work within the first couple of rounds, Past that, going into the Sweet 16 Elite Eight, it's going to have to be everybody clicking. Everybody 5, 6, 7, 8 clicking for them to make the championship run. I
I
think
think
that they can make.
everything. I think we're just about winning, winning, winning. To be able to win at USC for such a storied program, to be able to win for the city of Los Angeles, a city that a lot of us on the team are from, and just your hometown. And then for me, it's my last year ever playing college basketball, so that just be the cherry on top. So I think we're just super excited, super blessed, super grateful to be in this position, and we kind of want to just take it all.
What's the plan for Selection Sunday? I was there last year for the party.
We have a taco bar. We got a lot of fans, season ticket holders. They sell it.
Yeah, we don't.
Best of luck in the
That's pretty much it. But anyways, let's go ahead and get it back into the video. Just want to play those few clips really quick. And yeah, let's get back into it. 5 to 7 business days, they're going to Cancun. So that is my first round for each of the 4 regions. Back up here to the top, UCLA and Richmond. Again, got UCLA winning that game. Ole Miss and Baylor should be a good one. Ole Miss and Baylor. That's gonna go down to the. It's gonna go down to the wire. Coach Yo-Yo defense. It's not gonna be enough. Baylor. See, it's gonna be a lot of this contemplating which one. I think LSU is gonna get this one done down here. See NC State getting that one done. Ole Miss and Baylor though. I'm gonna get it done for me. We've seen Baylor stats. Ole Miss. Coach Yo-Yo better come out here and get the coaching. Coaching her Adable Snakes off with this one. Madison Scott with 12, 6. Oh, they got KK Deans, who was hooping. Um, Tide. I'm gonna pull Baylor. I think I'm gonna see UCLA and Baylor. Yeah, I'm gonna go with that one. What we got? We're gonna go down there in a second. South Carolina and Indiana. South Carolina should be winning that game. Green Bay or Maryland. Got Maryland winning that game. West Virginia, North Carolina should be a good one. I'm gonna pull with North Carolina. Vanderbilt and Duke. Seeing how Duke played in that ACC tournament championship game, or just in general in the whole tournament. I think that's where Vanderbilt season's gonna end versus Duke. I don't know if Michaela Blix will have enough to beat a defensive-minded Duke team. So we'll see. But I got Duke. Texas and Creighton. See Texas pulling that one out. Ohio State and Tennessee. This is going to be one of those heart-beating games. Jelani Cambridge, Cody McMahon, Tennessee. It's going to be a good one. I think. Let's look at Tennessee. What does their thing look like? Tennessee, what do they look like? Lady Volunteers. What's it looking like? Talasia Cooper was 17 a game. 6'4". Talasia Cooper enough for Cody McMahon Jelani. Let's look at their schedule again. They just had a lot of close games. This one versus Oklahoma, LSU, Vanderbilt, Texas, South Carolina was a close game. Lost by 7. LSU again beat UConn by 4. Missouri by 5. They just had a lot of close games this year. I'm gonna go. I think we might have an upset. Might have an upset. Tennessee versus Ohio State might be an upset, but it's gonna go down to the wire like last shot. Michigan and Notre Dame. Hannah Hidalgo versus Silas Swords. Again, as long as Notre Dame sticks to that formula that made them great when the season started, not this recent formula, and I hope it's not what they're going with, is Hannah Hidalgo's taking all these shots. And Olivia Miles is very passive, not getting her shots off. Citron gotta be scoring. Maddie Westbell has to score. She can't just run around 27 minutes of cardio. It's not gonna work. And even Leah King, they have to score their bigs. And that's another thing that scares me about Notre Dame is their limited bench. Let's pull up Notre Dame again. Hopefully they don't come out here with a limited 7, 8 player rotation. Because other than that, we might see an upset. But if they all play together, I can see them beating Michigan. But if they come around here with 8 players, now I did see one of those games. They had some sign-ons last minute, snatch them off campus, put them on the team, give them a jersey, put them on the team. This 8 player rotation can only take them so far. They need depth. You can't just rely on Hannah Hidalgo and Olivia Miles to really get that done. But I do see Michigan. He was hooping with USC though too. Ooh, let's see Michigan again. Look at the stat line again. Olivia Olsen's our leading scorer by a .1. 16. Oh, I don't know. That second team is really going to be. That's what it's going to come down to is the bench. Michigan and Notre Dame comes down to the bench. What does the bench produce in games like this? Even when they lost to, well, they only had 7 players that game that played. Because when I looked at their bench the last time in the predictions video, they have a lot of players, but they don't do anything. It's a lot of either shoe scratching or cardio. But with Notre Dame, they only had like 7, 8 players on their rotation. We'll see. I think I'm gonna roll with Notre Dame. Don't sell me. Don't sell me. Because if you sell me, I'm crashing out. Don't sell me. Please don't. Haley Van Lith reunion. Louisville versus TCU. See TCU getting it done. Louisville is a good team. They're not crazy. I mean, they're kind of like mid. I mean, again, I see them beating Nebraska possibly, but a Haley Van Lith reunion will be very interesting. Very interesting. Anyways, Spokane, Mississippi State, going home. Kansas State and Kentucky. Kansas State and Kentucky. Kenny Rooks. Can he coach when it comes to games like this versus what was it? Kansas State. Let's look at their team. Kansas State. Who was doing what for them? 14, 5 boards, 7 assists, block, steals. They only have a lot of players, it looks like. Ayoka Lee seemed like that's their leading scorer. 15. So why is she here as a leading scorer? Is Ayoka Lee with most points? But anyway. Um versus Kentucky. So Kentucky. 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 Let's see. Georgia Amore, Strack. It's really just them two, it looks like. Everybody else plays their role. I'm gonna go Kentucky. I'm gonna go Kentucky. That should be a close game, but I think Kentucky will pull that off. Iowa and Oklahoma, Reagan Beers versus Hannah Stuckey, Lucy Olson. I think this is where Iowa goes home. I got them winning that game. UConn and Oklahoma State got UConn. We're gonna talk about UConn in a second because we'll have to have that discussion in just a second. But let's go back up to the top. UCLA and Baylor. UCLA should win that game. LSU and NC State should be a good one. Now again, this LSU run comes down to health. How healthy is Flau'jae Johnson this far in March Madness? How healthy is Anissa Muro? How healthy is she going this far in the March Madness? Those are the two players that got the boot right now, so we'll see. NC State, this is a team that made the Final Four last year. I'm from I have to open the window. It's gonna look kind of hot in here. Ah, ah, I think I'm gonna go with LSU. NC State, some dogs out there. Big Zo, Sanaya Rivers, Zaya James, Madison Hayes versus Flau'jae, Madison, and Issa Muro if they're healthy. That's gonna be a tough game, bro. I wouldn't be mad at either or. Whoever wins, I wouldn't be mad at either or for LSU. It depends on how they play in that game. Depends my mood and emotions, but either or wins, I wouldn't be mad. But I think right now, if they're healthy, Victory is healthy, I think they beat NC State. South Carolina and Maryland, yeah, South Carolina wins that. North Carolina and Duke, this is a men's rivalry. Should be a good game. I think Duke's defensive presence catch North Carolina off guard a little bit. I think Duke plays South Carolina in the Elite Eight. Texas and Tennessee. Again, I see Texas making that type of run this year. They've caught me by surprise. They look legit. Rory Harmon looks healthy with a knee brace on. Madison Booker, she gotta be hooping. She can't come out here shooting tour dates from the field. The 4-13. That cannot happen. Like for South Carolina. Because Tennessee, they're gonna come to play. Taylor Jones will have to box out. But I can see Texas O'Daker, the anchor O'Daker. Yeah, I see Texas winning that game. Even with Creighton. Yeah, I can see O'Daker dominating in that game too. Madison, Rory, Taylor Jones, yeah. See them making it far. TCU and Notre Dame. Now these two teams played earlier this year. Let's pull back up Notre Dame. We watched that game earlier this year. Utah and TCU beat them in that Thanksgiving tournament. Pretty much 7-on-7. This is where that second team is really gonna have to kick in. Notre Dame, you cannot come here with a slim rotation and think they're gonna make a deep run. And even when they played last time, Citron with 14 is okay. Keiko Val's playing 30 minutes of cardio, nothing but 6 boards. You're not beating TCU and Anthony Davis, Sedona Prince with that. Leah 2 King gotta have at least 12 in this game. Hannah's gonna be Hannah, we know that. Olivia Miles, 16 is cool. Could be a little maybe 20. Citron with 14. Yeah, they're gonna have to remember this game right here. And Hannah Hidalgo and Olivia Miles, they're gonna have to put up a LeBron, Kyrie Irving 2016 game to beat TCU. But again, it comes down to the second team. TCU has done a lot of winning, and it's a potential Notre Dame another elimination in Sweet 16. No, because Notre Dame, when they get to this point, they start sweating bullets. I don't know, Notre Dame, they kind of sell around this time right in the Sweet 16. As long as they stick to the formula, TCU, they've been doing a lot of winning. Sedona Prince had a 2020 last time. Let's look at their stats. Who does what? We know Haley Van Lith, what she's doing. 18, 9. Almost 10 boards. Think Notre Dame. They might sell. Think TCU and Texas. South Carolina, Kentucky. Kentucky, Kenny Rooks. Georgia Amore, get ready for the draft. I think USC has too much for Kentucky. Juju Watkins. Okiki. Kennedy. Pick it up 92. That second team is going to come up big for USC and Kentucky. See them winning that game. UConn and Oklahoma. Got UConn winning that game. Slide back up to the Elite Eight. UCLA and LSU. LSU last year, I believe this was Sweet 16 last year. LSU beat UCLA. I think UCLA has too much for LSU. I think UCLA with a team that has a, and I had them in my predictions, either Final Four or a champion. Well, maybe borderline champion, but really realistically Final Four. They have everything to win it all if they were to. They have Lauren Betts, who should be looking like Nikola Jokic, right? Playmaking in the post. Then you have Kiki Rice, slasher, who can shoot a little bit. Jania Barker, who can be somewhat of a two-way, but really a defender, height, length. Lundeezy, London Jones, hitting their shots. Tamia Gardner hitting her shots. Second team comes up big. Yeah, I don't think LSU has enough to compete with that, so I'm gonna go with UCLA Final Four. This might be where they make a Final Four. They break through that curse of them selling every year. South Carolina and Duke. Duke, great run into the Elite Eight. I don't see you being South Carolina. Say, oh, they're not motivated. All right, they're gonna steamroll through all of this and still be in a championship game, possibly. Let's see. Let's see though. But yeah, there's that. Texas and TCU battle in Texas should be a good one. Texas, Madison Booker, Ori, Jones, Baker, Haley Van Lith, Donna Prince. Let's look at their second team. What do they do? I don't know if that's going to be enough. 6.5. Taylor Bigby. Let's look at Texas. 31-3 versus 31-3 versus 31-3. It's gonna be a good one, bro. Not gonna lie to you. Madison Booker, Madison, don't come out here playing. You better come out here and act like that's Bree Hall or something. They can't effing guard you. 16, 7, or even 5 assists, 6 assists, couple steals, Taylor Jones, 2 blocks. Ooh. It's gonna be a team game. Let's look at their schedule and see how their team looks in certain games. It's a lot of green grass until they get here. Let's look at their second team losses. So they look. Yeah, 4 points. Not winning with 4 points off the bench. Let's see other games. Let me look. Score. Let's see what's LSU. Dang, 8 points off the bench. You know what? I think Texas is going to come together and get it done. I think they send Haley Van Lith to the draft. Madison, if you come out here and shoot March 18th in this tournament, and I have you going to the Final Four and Elite Eight, if you shoot, I'm telling you, Madison got to hoop. She has to hoop. Now, this is where I have a problem. This is where I have this problem, right? So you decide to put USC and UConn in the same bracket and just thought that that was okay. Like I have to pick between one or the other. It's not fair. It's not fair. You know, like I can't pick because we've been rocking with both teams heavy all year. All year. We've been watching Southern California USC all year on and off the court. UConn, you know, we mess with Page, says Hopkins. And in the predictions video, I said, this is Page Cinderella story right here, Disney Channel ending, right? SB's in the freshman year to injuries, taking over the season, coming back to the fifth year. I mean, last year in the Elite Eight, no, in Elite Eight they beat USC in the Final Four. They lost to Iowa. No AZ Fudd with AZ play. Would that make a difference? I don't know. Even with USC and UConn, AZ Fudd, I don't. She played limited minutes, but AZ Fudd looks healthy, and this is another Disney Channel ending for her because she possibly could go to the WNBA this spring as well. And AZ Fudd, if AZ Fudd was healthy, they could have made at least one national championship. At least one. Will this be the year? Paige, she's been looking like Hopkins Page. AZ Fudd, she looks healthy. If she's picking up 92 feet, that's an issue for offense. Because there's no way. I see AZ Fudd as a scorer. So if she's picking up full court, and it's not like KK Arnold. Ooh, this team is nasty. And of course, you got KK, you got Ashton Shade, John Elfie, Ice Brady. Ooh, why would they do this to me, bro? That's supposed to be Final Four material. Now with USC, I seen Juju clapping straight face when the tournament bracket got released. This is the game Juju Watkins shuts all of the doubters up and the haters and prove that she belongs in college and deserves the accolades, the praise, and you know the recognition she deserves. Because I've been seeing a lot of Juju hate within this last week for no reason. Because all she does is hoop, being advertised heavy. Now the Nike commercial, you don't have to keep playing that. She has plenty of ads. You know, she got Nike, State Farm. What else? Nike, State Farm. This is a player that got 3 billboards painted, face on buses, Skies Airlines, makeup lines, Ritz, Fanatics, Gatorade. Yeah, man, there's too many ads just to keep playing a Nike ad, you know, but we're not here for that. The biggest thing with USC that scares me is this right here. Just hear me out.
Against a UCLA team that has led this conference in scoring defense. How do you keep that intensity going in the second half here?
Keep giving the ball to Juju. She's cooking on herself.
Keep that intensity going in the second half here.
Keep giving the ball to Juju. She's cooking on herself.
Keep that intensity going in the second half here.
Keep giving the ball to Juju. She's cooking on herself.
That right there, that scares me. And you know why? And even in this game, right? Let's go back for a second. In this game, Kiki had 6 points at halftime. Kiki Iriafen is too talented for 6 points and a half. This was the game versus UCLA, by the way, in the Big Ten championship. Kiki cannot come out here and score 6 points and a half. That needs to be the first few minutes of the game. The big thing with USC is Kiki Iriafen's consistency. I understand take each game at a time. You have to take the series because every game is a game 7. Kiki has to dominate this tournament. For USC to win a national championship, she has to be dominant. Like Hakeem Olajuwon dominant. Has to be. And even in this game, she finished with 10 points. That's not going to win the game. That's not going to win. Let's look at the game. Matter of fact, while we're here talking about USC and UCLA. See, this is gonna scare me with USC, right? Kiki had 10 points in 33 minutes. This needs to be like 18 and 10 easily. This is your last dance, Kiki. You go into the league in literally under probably a month now. Raya Marshall. I know you don't score a lot, but we need at least 6 to 8, something. Kennedy, not really too worried about Kennedy right now. I mean, I don't see her shooting 0 for 7 or 1 for 8 from the field in the tournament, at least this far. Juju's gonna Juju, we know that. 9 of 28 is nasty though. But again, it's gonna rely on her teammates to step up because what happens is every team knows they're game planning for Juju, right? Every team knows they're game planning for her. So you know she has to be clicking. And if Kiki is clicking, that creates so much opportunities for everybody else to score. For Talia to have 8 to 10, 12 points. Rhea Marshall, when she's scoring, maybe 4 to 6. Kennedy would probably give you at least 10 to 12. Avery Money Sniper, at least 10 to 12 off the bench. Malia Samuels, 8 points off the bench. But it all starts with Juju being clicking because you know they're gonna be rattled trying to guard her, right? And Juju, we already know she's gonna get to that basket. 1, 2, haha, midi, straight pull up over her little, you know what. If you know, you know. This the Juju they need. I'm gonna show you the clip right now. This is the Juju they're gonna need.
Yeah, that's what you just said. You good. Yeah, that's what you just said. You good. You good.
She said I should have pulled up on her little, you know what. If you know, you know. This is the Juju Watkins they need versus UConn. Because I'm looking at UConn right now. They look pretty starving. You know they looking for USC for get back. This Juju right here, you don't gotta get 8 blocks. If she do that, I already said she's better than LeBron. If she do that, that stamps my approval of her being better than LeBron, 100%. And Juju knows last year what happened. That should click in the brain like, yeah, we got to get back in the regular season. But this one right here in the Elite Eight, this time last year, remember what happened. We need Kobe Juju to come out. That I hate UCLA Juju to come out. You feel me? So, that being said, we'll have winning. I can't be mad at either or. The only thing about USC, if they lose, they're gonna destroy Juju like she did something to the Clarkies. They're gonna destroy Juju like she doesn't have 2 years left of college and still win a national championship. But with UConn, they have more on the line. If they lose, that's gonna be tough. That's gonna be a tough loss for UConn. I don't know. I can't pick. This is tough. This is tough. And with USC, it's gonna rely strictly on Kiki being aggressive, not too aggressive, fouling out, being aggressive enough to at least do what she did last time when they played each other. Let's find USC. Yeah, USC. Last time they played UConn. Where's that? Right here. And that game went down to the wire too. Just Sarah Strong, she missed the free throws. And the thing that scares me about UConn, they cannot go in this game thinking Paige is gonna carry them. Everybody has to be clicking. Paige, we know Paige gonna Paige. AZ's gonna do her thing. Sarah Strong has to put up the same 22-point performance. KK rotating on defense. Ashlyn Shade hitting her threes, like how they did versus South Carolina. They come together like that, it's gonna get wicked. But they cannot go in that game doing this right here. Just thinking it's gonna be Paige and Sarah Strong, and just think that's gonna be enough. It's not, especially in times like this where something's on the line. Again, AZ Fudd played 8 minutes, very limited, coming off the injury. Should be a lot more minutes of me, a lot more points on the board. Yeah. Ice Brady starting with nothing, 13 minutes of jogging. Everybody got a score. And then even with this one, see, Kiki was 16 and 11. That will get you a W. 16 to 18 and double digit rebounds, that they win every game. Probably except Iowa and UCLA. Other than that, that's gonna win them the games that they need to win. Kennedy knocking down her threes in the corner. Talia gotta have at least 8. I can't be mad at either or. It's tough. I think this comes down to the last shot. I think Juju locks in completely. I think Juju Watkins proves to everybody that she deserves her recognition. Content creators and social media give her this much flashlight, and now the world can't stand her. But I think this game right here proves that she belongs in that category with the Hoopers. I'm gonna go SC, and it's tough. I mean, it's gonna come down to the last shot. It's gonna be a tough game. Final four: South Carolina in Texas versus UCLA in Southern California. USC, UCLA, South Carolina, and Texas. Ooh, wouldn't this be a fascinating Final Four? The ish talking that happened last time between these two teams, potential get back can happen, or we could get Southern California, not Southern California, SC, Sorry, sorry. We could have South Carolina do what they do, or Texas gets revenge and get back. On the other side, we could have USC avenging themselves versus UCLA. Mm. I believe the championship game, and again, like I said, bro, it could either be, dang, this is tough. I think with this game, South Carolina and Texas, I'm gonna go SC. I'm gonna go SC. And again, this is gonna come down to experience. Like I've said earlier in the video, this is gonna come down to experience and what team can pull it out in the last couple of minutes, last few minutes of the game. Southern California, USC versus UCLA. Is something's really on the line this time now. Before USC beat UCLA at home and in their home, UCLA's house. And UCLA got to get back in the tournament, Big Ten tournament. I think we could end up seeing USC and South Carolina in a championship game. Or we could see UConn and South Carolina. I'm gonna do both. I'm gonna do both. Um, could see UConn and South Carolina, or we could see USC and South Carolina. Let's say hypothetically speaking, if this were to happen, South Carolina versus USC in a championship game, again, Juju's gonna lock in versus UCLA. She don't like them. So I see the best version of Juju coming out, like maybe a 40-50 piece coming out in the final four, if they were to make it that far. This game right here is going to be very interesting, right? USC versus SC. Again, this is going to come down to experience, right? South Carolina has more experience than USC in a championship level game. That's going to be a heartbreak if USC loses. That's going to be a heartbreak. But I think when it comes to this, again, Kiki's going to have to be a monster. Kiki, Juju, Kennedy, they're going to have to be monsters in that game. like huge production points gonna have to come off the bench because South Carolina, they come down to depth, experience. So realistically, you could say SC wins. And as far as the score, I don't want to predict no score because yeah, it's not gonna be a blowout. But then hypothetically speaking, let's say UConn is here and UConn beats UCLA. I don't see UCLA beating either or UConn or USC. Them dogs, them dogs. Mm. Page, Hopkins, Page, AZ, KK. SC again is the height. Joyce Edwards going to have to lock in Chloe Kitts. Chloe Kitts have been playing pretty well so far before the tournament. Malaysia full, and then that's another thing is the bench too. See, that's what it's gonna come down to in this championship is the second team. South Carolina has a very interesting second team. Like they have starters, like starting guards as they're coming off the bench players. Second team. Malaysia Fulwali's a starter on a lot of teams in the country. But with her going to SC, humbling herself and realizing I could still win and not be a starter, really helped her a lot. Maybe for an egotistical thing. Tessa Johnson, if you put her on the majority of these teams in this tournament, she's a starter. But again, coming off the bench, production points, that's going to be huge for them. But even then, will that be enough? Because you see what happened last time in South Carolina. I don't care what Don Staley says. They're motivated to make it to this right here. That's what it comes down to. UConn or South Carolina? Let's put it like this, right? I know I'm dragging it, but let's put it from this perspective, right? If USC makes the championship, it's going to come down to the second team. They're going to need a lot of production points because South Carolina, you look at their second team. They got Malaysia coming off the bench, Tessa Johnson coming off the bench, very even scoring. This is where it gets just like tough, you know? Joyce Edwards not even a starter. 11 points off the bench. And this is from the championship game from the SEC. I love USC, bro. I have a lot of love for them. But is their second team enough? Is the second team enough? Let's look at their last win. See, if Kiki plays like this, they not losing. 20, 25, and 11, they're not going to lose. But she can't play like how she played versus UCLA. But this second team this was going to come down to. Talia cannot have 19 minutes of cardio shooting one time. Now with the team versus South Carolina. Um, I'm dragging it. It's almost an hour 30. I think SC gets it done. I'm not predicting scores. I just think SC, their second team is going to have a very big impact in how crazy this game is going to be. Because starters, you can go blow for blow with starters. Because again, USC has the height, but South Carolina has experience. And then if you put UConn here, right? If you put UConn here, you know what's going to happen with them dogs. They're going to unleash. Page ain't playing. Ooh, I don't know. But again, those three teams, even in my predictions, I had those three teams making the championship. I don't know who to pick. If I was to rank them, I say South Carolina possibly one. I'm gonna just rank them so we can get out of here. South Carolina one, USC two, and then UConn third. Mm, nah, I think SC's one, and it's a coin flip of USC and UConn. That's why I didn't want them to play each other to the Final Four. But if I was to rank those three teams, it's gonna be either South Carolina and then UConn or USC. Those are my three teams that win it all, and it's gonna be tough to pick who's gonna win it. But I think South Carolina is easily, possibly the number one team to beat. They're the final boss, to be honest. They're the final boss. They know, they know that. They act like they don't know that, but they know they're the team to beat, especially off of last year. Different team and all. But anyways, I'm gonna go ahead and end this video off. I think South Carolina is the team to beat. USC is gonna be hungry, but UConn's looking for a Disney Channel ending, so it's gonna be one of those three teams taking it home. I can't pick between UConn and USC, but I think this could be the championship possibly, or UConn being here as well. So with that being said, you guys let me know how you feel about my bracket. Is it good brackets? Is it L bracket? Again, you could argue all you want to, break your keyboard, whatever you want to do. Just know I ain't. It's either prove me right or prove me wrong. This is how you say my YouTube name, by the way. For those that want to know. That's how you say my YouTube name. But I'm gonna leave it at that. You guys let me know down below in the comments how you feel about this bracket. And I'm gonna see you guys. I'm gonna see you guys when the tourney start. This right here, the most open it's been probably ever. But it's one for the books. Simple.